everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, My Best Life Paraguay, and today we're going to be doing a reaction video to Adam's channel, Our Life in Paraguay, right? So Adam and his family, they are living in Caacupé. Paraguay is about 45 minutes to an hour out of the main city center of Asuncion, right where I live at, okay? And so interesting video. I haven't seen it yet, so there's going to be raw reaction. Safety for foreign women in Paraguay, right? This is going to be interesting. I don't have many women following my channel. I do have quite some, right? But certainly the minority, right? But I actually have gotten this question as well, like how would it be for a woman moving to Paraguay, right? And me, I can't really answer that with personal experience, right? But I can sort of probably give you an idea, and Adam can sort of probably give you an idea of what he's going to talk about here, about what we think, what he thinks, and then I'll react to see if it's pretty much to par with what I would say as well. Okay. So let's get right into it, and then I'll just stop talking here. Oh, if you haven't noticed, by the way, I'm in my new place, quite a bit bigger than my duplex. I know it's just messy and stuff right now, so I got to get this place cleaned up a little bit, but that'll be happening. Everything is just spread around everywhere because I don't know where to put certain stuff yet. Anyways, so yeah, let's get into it. All right, yeah, let's go.
Email that asked the question. I was wondering if you or any... The best ideas for videos often come from people who write into our channel. I recently received email that asked the question. I was wondering if you or anyone you know might be able to give me some information on what it's like for a single senior woman to become an expat and live in Paraguay. I've been unable to find any YouTube channels by women in Paraguay, expat or native. And the only time I see women portrayed, it's by men and dating. I've also come across a couple of people who say that Paraguay is not a woman-friendly country. So rather than crossing Paraguay off my list, I thought I would at least ask. I wouldn't want to live in Asuncion. I want to have a couple of acres near a small town. Thanks for your time and for all the information that you have provided through your videos. Well, firstly, I'd like to say thank you for writing the email. I really do appreciate the questions. They're really important topics and things that we probably haven't sufficiently covered in previous videos. But the first thing I should do is qualify the fact that I don't actually identify as a woman. I haven't really touched too much on what my preferred pronouns are. Perhaps if we reach 5,000 subscribers, I might do a big pronoun reveal, so look out for that. It's going to be
a... Dude, he's funny as hell. Man, you know what's funny? I was gonna make that same joke. It's like I can't identify as a woman, so I don't know, man. But I was like, nah, let's not even go there. But that's funny as hell. He went straight for it. He went straight for it. Oh my god, that's awesome. Oh yeah, so if I didn't already say, make sure you guys go follow his channel. I look up to this dude a lot because he's more insightful than other folks. He has more wisdom. And more experience on the ground than a lot of folks here. Also a family man, which I love when families look to move here. Yeah, that is hilarious though, man. Because I was literally thinking, should I joke about that stuff? I'm like, nah, let's keep this clean. But hey, he went straight for it. All right, let's go.
A blockbuster. But I do acknowledge that I'm talking about this from somebody on the outside looking in. I have not experienced this situation from the perspective of a woman. But I do know many women that have moved here, travelled through here. I have women in my family, so it's something that's dear to my heart, and I have something to add, for better or worse. You be the judge. The first thing I did was try to understand what the sources of information may be. So I went on to YouTube and punched in women, Paraguay, is it safe? Is Paraguay dangerous? And various combinations of that. And what came up were quite a few videos from both men and women that portrayed various situations and dilemmas that people have got themselves into, and there have been unfortunate outcomes. Well, what was consistent in most of those videos was that the people who had posted the videos had behaved in certain ways that I would categorise as generally provocative, absurd, ridiculous, unnecessary, naive. In one case, a guy had a minor traffic accident and then abused the Paraguayan man because he wasn't speaking English. It didn't work out for that guy. I wonder why. The point I make is that, as I say in various videos that we've made, you need to be careful about the degree to which you take on some of the things that are put out there. But when I thought about the crimes and unfortunate incidents that I'm aware of, that people in my social circle have encountered or I've seen further afield, the one thing that is most consistent is that most of the crime has been property-related crimes of opportunity, house break-ins, attempted break-ins, things that have been stolen. Most of the crime that I've heard about in Paraguay is in respect to opportunistic crime, more so than malicious crime directed at a person based on, in this case, their gender. If I was to be asked in one sentence, is Paraguay a safe country for women? I would say generally yes. But of course, there are certain caveats and qualifications that need to be made, because we live on planet Earth and there's nowhere on this round, flat, oblong sphere where women don't have to be at least careful about what they do. Paraguay is no different.
Yeah, and I would just say that, well, exactly, right? So, like, for me, for example, I might walk, like I just did when the sun was going down, not too far, but just to get groceries and stuff. If I were a lady, maybe not. I would keep it to certainly daylight hours. You know what I mean? And yeah, just I would just be much more careful. And what I think he's trying to get at is like more of crime of opportunities. Like, um, unfortunately, you will see like CCTV videos of uh, guys robbing women for their purses, even women robbing women for their purses, right? But like they may hesitate for a second to do that to me, somebody who's a bigger guy, you know. So I think that that's what he's trying to get at. I'll let him explain further, but I think that like pretty much that's what he's referring to for the crime of opportunities aspect of this. Okay.
I think about the crimes that I know have happened amongst the people that I know or are associated with, I wondered to myself, were those crimes committed based on the fact that they were male or female, or was it because they were foreigners? And what I'd say is that the conclusion is inconclusive, because I would contend that it could be said that these crimes occurred not because of gender or because of ethnicity, but because the people that were committing the crimes saw that there was something that they wanted, or they thought that there was something they wanted that that person had. For the most part, that is what I would say most of the crime that you may find yourself encountering in Paraguay involves. So even wealthy Paraguayans need to be careful and concerned about their stuff and being subject to crime here. It's not just a female thing or a foreigner thing. And we need to apply some context here, because part of the email that this person wrote questioned whether Paraguay was a safe place for women in general. Well, I would say that Paraguay, in terms of the position of women, is a standout in terms of the way that women are regarded here in general. Women hold a prominent place in society here in Paraguay. I think it goes back into their history, even go back to the Triple Alliance War, where most of the male population was wiped out. It was women who championed the revival of the country. I personally sense that that's still very much in the hearts and minds of people in this country, and women really do hold pride of place here. women hold their ground here. And the reason why that's relevant is because that crosses over in general to women of any ethnicity. I'm not saying that you can walk along any street any day of the time or night, nothing's going to happen. But you don't see the same sort of gender specific issues in Paraguay that you might see even in some other South or Central American countries. Paraguay really does revere women in general. If you're
Yeah, he's exactly right for historical reasons. And yeah, it's built into our music, our culture. That yeah, women rebuilt the country, repopulated the country after essentially the annihilation of the country in the 1860s after the Triple Alliance War. Um, you know, it, so what he is saying is true. Your average Paraguayan woman is very strong, very resilient, right? And I got this question a long time ago, that is Paraguay and Latin America a matriarchal society? And I say that depends, right? So like this was asked by like a really feminist woman, right? And she wanted me to immediately say yes. And in the cases where I will say yes is when the woman had to, but it wasn't the ideal case. For example, my grandma, right? We all know my grandma as that person who started our entire family, who was the absolute rock of our family and the foundation of all the dozens and dozens of us right now that exist because of her. She had 13 children, right? And then of those 13 children, we multiplied, right? But what would have been more ideal is that we have two grandfathers, right? And what would have been ideal is that the man would have been by her side, uh, in 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 the way that a family man is supposed to, right? Um, but that's not always the case here, right? Because a lot of guys, locals, go off and impregnate women, and this is starting to change now with the younger generations. There's more accountability these days. There's more laws in place these days where it's not as bad as it used to be, but it still happens, right? Where guys impregnate women, they have no desire to take care of their kid or to see their woman well, and they're just kind of out there acting a fool, right? So in those cases, the women really truly do step up, right? Again, it's not ideal, but they do, right? And not just seeing their own kids, but then their kids, and well, and so in that case, yeah, they're extremely resilient. Um, and it's good to see, but it's also sad to see. You know what I mean? Because ideally, if you're gonna have a kid, hopefully that you're staying together for the betterment of the child. But again, I always talk about this, that here in Paraguay, it's usually the guy walking away from the family, right? Now, in the degenerate United States of America, so many oftentimes, especially younger generations, or honestly, really any generation, so many of the times the women will walk away from their families, right? And then that goes to accountability, with what I've talked about, and all this stuff too, or lack of accountability that people can have for certain situations. So it's almost flipped on its head, right? A lot of people might get mad at me for saying that, but it's true, right? It literally plays out in the numbers. Okay. It's not to say that there's no selfishness here in Paraguay either, right? For a handful of women who might walk away for selfish reasons, not for reasons that they should, including abuse and all that stuff. Um, I'm talking about the I'm bored, I want to relive my youth, all that kind of stuff, right? So, uh, anyways, getting back into, yeah, women are resilient because they have to be, because they have to be, and also most women here, um, economically knows what it is to struggle economically, right? Again, it's starting to change. I do see a solid middle class creeping up here in Paraguay in the next 10, 20 years. healthier middle class than the U.S., right? But at the same time, women know how to budget, micromanage their money very well. They can stretch out their guaraníes, and in that case, they're extremely responsible. Okay, so it's not to paint all women as absolutely wonderful. Of course, there's the not so pleasant ones, either some gold diggers and all that kind of stuff too. But in general, okay. So, anyways, I just want to give my 2 cents on like local women, if that actually carries weight. Okay, hopefully I explained that decent enough, but that's the best way I can explain it. Okay, let's keep going.
You're on a bus and there's a man sitting down, he'll generally give up his seat. He'll generally look out for women. I don't see any evidence here that women need to be concerned about their safety in the way that perhaps there are in many other countries that we've travelled through or we're aware of. Not to say that there are not things that women have to be concerned or careful about here. This is planet Earth. I would say that in general terms, Paraguay is a comparatively safe country for women to travel or settle in. The first thing I'd say is if you come to Paraguay,
I would agree. Just real quick, I would certainly agree, especially compared to like historically Central America, even Mexico for that matter. Historically, I know it's starting to change for the better. But even like Brazil, like had like rampant amounts of and Paraguay does have this here and there as well. What's the word? Femicide, right? Where the husband will get on a guilty trip for whatever reason, or a breakup happened, and then unfortunately he will have murdered his wife, right, or girlfriend or whatever. It's ugly to see, but it's not to say it never happens in America either. It certainly happens in America too. Again, that's going to the most extreme, but what he was saying before about like in comparison to other countries, yes, Paraguay is certainly safer, especially as a Latin American country, right? And it's overall chillness too. Paraguay's a really chill country, right? In general, right? Guys can be very machista, but at the same time, it's usually not in comparison as bad to some other countries. Okay, so I certainly agree with him.
don't behave like those people on the videos. If we be obnoxious, flippant, arrogant, or dismissive of where we're travelling, chances are we're going to end up in a difficult or unfortunate situation. If you're renting a property, just take care about the level of security that that property affords. Ensure that it provides a similar level of security to your neighbour on this side and that side, because if it's less secure and you've moved there as a foreigner, well, you may be targeted, but not necessarily based on the fact that you're a foreigner, more that you are perceived to have something that someone else wants. Sometimes it's a good idea to employ technology like an IP camera, not just to keep an eye on people who may be breaking into your property, but also just to see what's going on around your property. Sometimes you need to be careful about the person who gave you the key. So if you've got a camera in a discreet spot where you can keep an eye on what's going on, and it's something that some people have had some success with, just something to keep in mind. Ask questions. If you rent a property, ask the landlord, what's the history of the property? Find out, don't just rely on Airbnb reviews. If you are renting long term, speak to the landlord and see if you can negotiate a better deal on the property in terms of the security that it provides. You may ask for a better fence or more security on the front door or change the locks. Whatever it is, if you are renting for a long term, really do an assessment on the property, because that's often a weak point when it comes to people who are targeted, because sometimes rental properties just won't afford you the same degree of protection as the next door neighbour who owns his house. Just something to think about.
Yeah. So I have barbed wire and or not barbed wire, or yeah, well, razor wire, and then electric wire fence. Right. That's always, I keep it on always. Right. So yeah, I have certain safety stuff. Eventually, I'll get a security cameras. Right. Especially if I have lady company here. If it's just me, man, I ain't too worried. It's me and my dog. You know what I mean? Um, I have thought about getting armed. Um, with a pistol, right? At some point. Um, but that'll probably be down the line. I have a lot of other things I need to buy and take care of. But I'm not against it, right? I'm not against it because there is like he said, there could be people who want to try to make you a mark, but that's why personally, I like to move into new places that have brand new security systems, right? Or even just better, like you said, like even like door locks and that kind of thing in general, Um, is anything 100% safe? No, but still, you know, I see what he's saying. Okay, let's keep going.
I'm aware of some situations in recent times where foreigners in particular have been targeted based on their movements, and they happen to go to a particular event at a particular week after week. Well, people are watching. And unfortunately, those sort of routines leave us more prone to being targeted for opportunistic crime. My advice is, if you're involved in a regular routine and you can't break out of it, take extra care for your belongings on those particular occasions. You might take your passports with you, or you might do something different with your valuables. Whatever it is, just be aware that by creating routine, you're creating the potential for people to take advantage of that. And that is an actual fact of what's been going on here in recent times. But just getting back to the base question, is Paraguay safe for people who happen to be female and want to travel through or settle here? I say absolutely, compared to either the countries that we've travelled through in South and Central America, or even the countries that we lived in previously and called home. I reckon this is a safer bet, as long as you take certain precautions. If you do the right things, you won't be guaranteed of not being targeted or being the victim of a crime, but nowhere on earth can give you that assurance. But you're definitely not stepping into a situation that provides what I would consider to be an unrealistic level of risk. If it was that case, we wouldn't be here. That was a big box that we needed ticked. There were various things that we needed to be assured of any place that we settled, and this is definitely a box that's ticked for us. We think that Paraguay is brilliant in this regard. And just as I've been watching this video, I've watched two of the members of my family who happen to be female, who just walked past me now. They've been walking around town all day today, no problems whatsoever. That's what we do here, because we have no concerns generally about our safety here. I understand that everyone's different. There may be cases out there that may be contrary to what I've spoken about here, but there it is, just my 2 cents worth. I look forward to your thoughts, and if anyone's got experiences that they want to share, always happy to see them in the comments below. So until next time, take care. Ciao.
Great video, Adam. Good job, man. Yeah, I certainly agree, and not much more I can say to that. Otherwise, the only thing I'll add is create good friends, right? Even if you really want to share your location, make sure that you have your location settings on all your devices as well. Me, so for one thing, I actually lost, or I realized immediately that I left my phone in a Uber, right? And a wonderful older gentleman, I was able to trace it the very next day, right? And the next day, a little before noon, I think, I traced my house, and I remember his car, and then I saw his car in the driveway, and I just did the little clapping thing that we do here in Paraguay. And then he came outside, um, and he had my phone, right? Sorry, 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Hey, go. Okay. Um, yeah. So So anyway, keep your device location on. Not that everybody needs to see it like publicly, but if you're really worried, especially if you're a woman, share that with people you trust. Hell, even share it with people in the states or whatever country you're coming from, just for reassurance. Also, just and get friendly with your neighbors as well. One of the first things that my landlord here did was make sure that I had my neighbor's number, right? To be in vecinos en alerta, which is the neighborhood watch, right? Or just like watching out for your neighbors is the phrase vecinos en alerta, right? So yeah, be cool with your neighbors. You guys will look out for each other. You'll notice and have conversations with them if you think that anything is going on fishy, that kind of thing. I do sort of live much more among the people than a lot of people do. Um, so I actually do have to be quite cautious myself. But at the same time, I don't like to live life in fear, and I know that I'm saying that as a man, right? But at the same time, I don't think whatever gender you are or whatever you identify as, um, I went there. You know, I don't agree with living in fear, right? Because if you live in fear, then all your decisions and actions will have been made out of that framework. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say. And yeah, yeah, I think in general, foreign women do great here, really, truly. This is a standout country for the best. So anyways, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Adam's a great guy, and I hope to collab with him. I know I've been saying that for a year now, but I'm in the city most of the time. I got my dog, I got my job, so but I will hopefully meet up with Adam. And but in the meantime, make sure you go follow his channel and his journey here in Paraguay. Great dude, does great content. He's a real one. He's not a guru. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have anything more you want me to address on this topic, I can, or just comment in below in the comments. Keep that discussion going. Ladies, please comment in as well. Let's not have this all be men who are discussing this on behalf of women. Right? I understand the irony here, but so yeah. So ladies, let's hear your opinions as well. And yeah, so anyways, I'll see you guys later. Again, this is Ryan Aranda. Sorry, this is Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.